Hey, what's going on guys, it's Buggaz here and welcome back to another video. And since we've wrapped up our review of the Walking With series with the Walking With Game and review, which you should definitely check out, I thought it would be a fun idea to rank all of them in a tier list. And I'm gonna actually try to make this tier list, well, I say I want to make it as objective as possible, but then again, I also have a category. But that actually is almost a perfect segue to the fact that I'm going to have four categories that will determine the placement of the tier list. The first one is quality, like the actual quality of how good the documentary actually is. And this is obviously not going to be as objective as it can be because you know when you're reviewing something you're gonna have your personal opinions whether you want it in or not. So, but I'm gonna try to make this quality segment purely objective. The second was it the second second factor? I don't even remember what I said. Second factor is entertainment. How how entertaining it is as a document to watch. Aside from how good it is, because you know how like some movies are not really that good when it comes to quality, but are really entertaining. That's what this category is for. The third one is rewatchability. I think all these things contain themselves. Rewatchability is just how easy it is to rewatch. Because you could have a movie that's like really good, but it's not really rewatchable, and thus it doesn't really last the test of time. And then the fourth one is my personal opinion, how I personally feel about the documentary. Pretty self-explanatory. So, without any further ado, since I have no idea how long this video is gonna be, let's get started with Walking with Dinosaurs. Oh, and also like the tiers also have their own numbers because I'm gonna assign them scores out of 5. Each category is score out of 5, and then we're gonna see the total, and then we'll place the thing on the thing. Yeah. I'm gonna place the documentary on the tier list based on the score. Oh, and also this series is on Tiermakers. So if you want to use my template specifically, there's a link in the description below. So you could use it, and I will be updating this every time I make a new review. So like if I've made like 10 more reviews, it'll be updated to have those 10 dinosaur documentaries that I've reviewed. So let's begin with Walking with Dinosaurs. So Walking with Dinosaurs, I would say on a quality wise, is solid 4.5. So if you were to that's like a 9, right? That's like a 9. The reason it is a 9 is because I mean it's just really good overall. The nature documentary experience. That's just something that is a huge strength of the series, and I tend not to include scientific accuracy, but for its time, it was pretty dang good for scientific accuracy, and I can't ignore the fact that it did basically create the genre, but story wise and just what is in the each episode is really good. So I'll say solid 4.5 for quality. Entertainment is also like a solid 4.3. There are some parts that are a little bit boring, but it is part of the nature documentary experience. It's not an action movie, but there are some parts that like are boring but has nothing really going on. So it's preventing it from going any higher. And if you're judging something by entertainment, you want to like keep the audience's attention. So they enjoy what they're watching, and at some parts I kind of feel like I want to skip them just because like there's literally nothing going on. So 4.2 for that. As for rewatchability, I'm gonna have to knock it down to a 4. Reason being is that since it is 6 30-minute long episodes, that's like what, like 3 hours worth of a documentary if you want to watch the whole series in its entirety at once. And that kind of lowers it a bit because actually rewatchability is like how much time the documentary is and how how I guess how easy it is to rewatch. Now on that factor, it is actually really easy to rewatch. You can ease into it. But the fact is that it's still a 3 hour long documentary. So, it's not if you have the time, then you can of course watch it. But I don't know. I think in this day and age, not many people are gonna have time to watch the whole thing, and to get the full experience, you're gonna want to watch the whole thing. So solid four, still solid four. And as for how I feel about it, personally, it's not my favorite among the Walkaway series. Because I mean, I didn't really grow up with Walking with Dinosaurs specifically. I don't think I really watched it as a kid, but I still don't hate it. I love it, in fact, but I'd still only give it a 4 out of 5. So if we total that up, that would make it. I got my trusty dandy calculator, so because I can't be bothered to do math right now in my brain, that would be a solid 16. 16.7. So that actually lands in the S tier. Yeah. So yeah, a good start. A good start. Hold on. Let me actually order these by way of when I review each entry. There you go. So, Walking with Beasts next. Quality-wise, Walking with Beasts is a bit higher than Walking with Dinosaurs, like a 4.6. Just because I think it's just a really good series overall. It improved on many of the aspects that Walking with Dinosaurs like the fact that it actually has more of a complete story, and also for the fact that I didn't mention actually the CGI for Walking with Dinosaurs, but it's also one of the strong aspects of these two series because despite how old they are, the CGI still holds up pretty well. But I think what carries One with Beasts in terms of quality is the story element. Because when you're watching One with Dinosaurs, you're getting that nature experience, but with Walking with Beasts, you're getting that. Plus, it's an actual story that you can fit into a beginning, middle, and end. And I think that alone puts it a bit higher than One with Dinosaurs. Now, entertainment wise, I say it would still be around 4.2, same as One with Dinosaurs. Actually, let's check it up to a 4.4 because the story aspect that I mentioned really does help it in terms of how entertaining it is because people who just want to watch a story with these animals, they get that when Walking with Beasts. And they do get that somewhat with One with Dinosaurs, but it's more emphasized in One with Beasts. Because, I mean, I can bring up the whole have to, is it have to episode? The Smiler episode, where it's basically the Lion King. And, people, I'm guessing, a lot of you have watched the Lion King, the original, because nobody wants to watch the remake. But it's a familiar. They take familiar as stories and then put them in the the nature documentary setting, and I think they really help that. So 4.4. Now rewatchability, I'd still have to put it at a 4 again. Like it, a lot of these 6 episode documentaries are gonna have that problem because it does lower how easy they are to rewatch just because of the simple fact that these are 3-hour documentaries total, and nobody has that kind of time. Let's be honest. Like, it's hard having 3 full hours of your day doing absolutely nothing. Well, aside from watching documentaries. So still a solid 4, and thus. So I did an oopsie here, and I didn't realize I forgot to mention my opinions on what could be. So we're doing it here. So Fallen Beast for me gets like, in my personal opinion, gets like a 3.9 because I really didn't enjoy watching it as much as I did when I was younger. Because like honestly, after rewatching, Mama Junior was kind of a bit underwhelming for me, and I didn't really enjoy watching Next of Kin all that much. So I have to chalk it down to a 3.0, which is still a good score. Still a good score. But it's not as high as like I think out of all of them, it is my least favorite to watch. But I still personally love it. 2 episodes can't really I guess lower that score too much. So yeah, let's get started with the video today. I forgot, but the video should continue as normal. Why am I even apologizing? I should be apologizing to myself. But yeah, the video should continue as normal. Um, what did I rank it for this? Don't remember. So 4.7. So that lands it above. Actually, wait, no, yeah, because it's 16.7. Then yeah, so it's just under the S tier, and if please, so it's just under the S tier. Because it's a 16.9, I think, if my calculations are correct. So it lands in an S. Just one more point would have landed that up in S, but it's still a solid 8 tier. To be honest, I don't think any of these series are gonna be, below an A, because they're all pretty good. And as I review more documentaries, we'll get to see some documentaries that are in the lower tiers. While Monsters, quality wise, I would say it's on the same level. Uh, Probably I don't think it's in terms of objective quality, I don't think it's as good as Walking with Beast. Because I think the main problem with well, a minor problem, I guess it's not really too big of a problem, but the problem with Walking with Monsters is particularly in the Dimension episode, because even though I like how slow the pacing was, the CGI kind of standing a bit because there's a lot of reused animation in that scene, and there's also the baby models, like they look just like the adults, just shrunken down. So that kind of that single part alone kind of prevents me from giving a higher score, and the fact that I think that Wong Wood Beast's decision to make an actual story was I think had a much more significant impact on this reason. So still give it a 4.6, just below. Entertainment wise, I'd give it like a 4.3, or a 4.4. Wait, did I chalk oh wait, yeah, I did. Okay, so it is in S tier. God, I'm missing. I should have a note, so somebody, what? Actually, yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have a note because I'm gonna forget stuff. So what was it? I put with monsters. Quality wise, I put it. I just coincidentally have a piece of paper next to me. God dang. Quality. What was it? I gave it a 4.6, and entertainment wise, I give it a 4.5 because it is honestly really good. It is really entertaining. The mostly fast pace does help it become more entertaining because it's less time for people to get bored. Because there's always stuff happening, and even in the parts where there are where the pace is significant, so like the Permian segment, the stories within it still retain the audience's attention. So it's all 4.5. I'm gonna try not to elaborate too much because I don't want to make this a 45-minute video, but I probably will. So 4.5. And in terms of rewatchability, I'd give it a actually wait, hold on, I just realized something. I put a 3.8 on thing, didn't I? God, I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. So yeah, never mind. Actually, it is on the same level as this. Um, yeah. Okay. Sorry, ignore me. Rewatchability is a solid 4.5. Another solid 4.5. Since it's 3 episodes actually instead of 6, it does cut the total hours by half, so it's only 1.5 hours. I thought that was a very good decision because it just makes it easier to rewatch because you don't have to spend as much time as it. And I think since it's mostly action based and it has a lot of flashy stuff, I do think it's really rewatchable. In fact, I think out of the original trilogy, it is the most rewatchable. So 4.5. And how I personally feel, it's probably a 4.4. Just because I just personally really enjoy watching it. I mean, I didn't really enjoy Walking with Beasts as much after rewatching it. Only slightly, but I enjoyed Walking with Monsters a lot more after rewatching it. The pacing and all the stuff I'm repeating, but yeah, all of the stuff just made me maybe like Walking with Monsters a lot more. So the total score is, if we can get these things correctly, I might cut all this bit out actually for future, so you don't have to sit through me calculating. but that gives us a solid 18 out of 20 score, which lands it solidly in the S tier. Next up is Chased by Dinosaurs. Quality-wise, I wouldn't say it's, I would say it's equal. It gives like a solid 4. Because quality-wise, I don't think it provides that, it's not as actually good as I would say like something with like One with Dinosaurs or even the rest. Just because it is, the premise actually is quite silly when you think about it. And, it's not as good story-wise. Well, it's debatable. I know it's hard making a tier list, honestly. It's really hard deciding which is better than which. And so if anybody says it's easy, you're wrong. But yeah, it's really hard deciding, but I wouldn't put, like, if you were to ask me which one quality-wise is better, Walking with Beasts or One with Dinosaurs, I would still say Walking with, not Walking with Dinosaurs, Walking with Beasts or Chased by Dinosaurs. Why did I click? I would still say, Walking with Beasts. So, it's still 4, still pretty dang good. Entertainment-wise, though, it is like a solid 4 point, I don't know, 4.7, because really, that's what this show aims to give. I mean, Nigel's charisma pretty much carries the entire series, and you're gonna have a fun time watching it. That's the simple terms, and I feel like I should keep this. Thinking now, I should keep these parts brief because if you're more elaboration, then you can just watch my videos. But the short answer is you're gonna have a fun time watching because not just gonna entertain you. And I mean, the situations he ends up in is also some hilarious, some intense, and some is just fun to watch. So yeah, it's on 4.7. As for rewatchability, same 4.7 because it's actually only two episodes, and the fact that it's so entertaining does make it a lot easier to rewatch because for one, it doesn't take up a lot of your time, but it's also very easy to rewatch because it's basically like a theme park, right? Like a roller coaster. It's a short I guess a short trip, but it's so much fun that you want to go at it again, and another time you're at that part. That's like a basic analogy of what how rewatchable Chase by Dinosaurs is. And in terms of my personal preference, 4.6. It has lowered a bit since watching Chase by Sea Monsters and Ballad of Big Al. But I still had a really fun time enjoying it. It's just I didn't really watch this as much, so that's why it's kind of not as, I mean, to be fair, a 4.6 is far from low, but the others, the Chased by Sea Monsters and Ballad of Big I just personally prefer more because yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say. Is compared to some of the other ones, it's not as high, so 4.6. Which gives it a total score of 18. Actually, that's tied with the Wild Monsters, but I do prefer Walking with Chased by Dinosaurs over Wild Monsters. And then next up is Chased by Sea Monsters, and as you probably know, this is my favorite out of the entire Wild series, and quality-wise, I would say it's solid 4.4. No. Actually, let's try that into 4.3 because in terms of actual quality, again, I wouldn't say it's above um, the one with trilogy because the real aim with Chased by Dinosaurs and Chased by Sea Monsters is that it's kind of the since it takes the other format, it's meant to be more entertaining. And not so much as the nature documentary series, nature documentary feeling. So it's not as good. Like if you try to judge it objectively, it's not as good as the Walkaway trilogy. So I guess a 4.3 for me. Now, entertainment wise, it is so much fun. 4.8, definitely. It is so much fun to watch. It is essentially just another additional episode of Chased by Dinosaurs. It's honestly just super easy to ease into it. And I mean, like, Nigel really does balance, education and, fun adventure and intense situations very, very well. And I mean, to be honest, my words can't explain how entertaining the series is just to watch. So I suggest you check it out for yourself and you'll understand. And in terms of rewatchability, another 4.7. Just like Chased by Dinosaurs, because it is actually 3 episodes instead of 2, so it does add another 30 minutes. But honestly, that's not too bad. But I mean, even though it is 30 minutes longer, those extra 30 minutes are the most fun, right? Like, because the last episode is sets right after halfway through the Megalodon segment. So, and then that's like my favorite part of the episode. The last 2 segments are honestly my favorite part. So, that 30 minute extra is worth it. And I mean, like, the other 2 episodes are still really entertaining and easy to rewatch. And I usually define how good a movie or whatever by how rewatchable it is. Because, like, I think if it's even if how good it is, if it's not easy to rewatch, then I wouldn't say it's a good movie in all aspects. So I tend to put rewatchability above most other categories. So 4.7. And as for how I feel about this, 5. It's honestly my favorite documentary I think to ever exist. It's so entertaining, it's so easy to rewatch, and I just every time I have a fun time watching it. And I mean, it wouldn't be my favorite if I wait, no, I worded that wrong. I wouldn't have rewatched it so many times if it wasn't my favorite. So 5 out of 5. The first 5 out of 5, in fact. So let me accumulate the total score. A solid 18.8. Now let's see if that's the highest. Because pretty much I think the only one to contest it is Ballad of Big Al. So speaking of Ballad of Big Al, let's continue with that. So quality wise, Ballad of Big Al is like what did I even put for one with I think I put it like a 4.5 or something, but Ballad of Big Al is like what was it? What would I put it? It's probably like honestly a 4.8. If Chased by Sea Monsters to me was high on the entertainment scale, then Ballad of Big Al is high on the whatchamacallit, on the quality. Because for one, the actual story of Al is very well paced. The CGI has also been improved from Walking with Dinosaurs. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention one other thing is that the CGI in Chased by Sea Monsters is the best in the Marvel series. But back to Ballad of Big Al, the story is very well paced. I really like somewhat the subtle things they put in Al's story, and also like the somewhat poetic things, like how the rain, just just comes a bit too late to save him, and it makes for a tragic story. And then the second part is the actual science behind it, and this actually I enjoyed this a lot more than while I enjoyed it about the same as the actual story, because learning how they made all the choices they made within the documentary is actually way more entertaining than you would think. And that whole segment is pretty much just like chock full of useful information. So in terms of objective quality, it is a solid 4.8. Entertainment wise, I would put it a 4.5. Al's story is very easy to ease in and watch. So it's just it's just a fun story overall. But actually, I'm gonna have to chalk that down to like 4.4 because I just thought of something. Um, because the reason I chalked it down 1 point is because if you're a person like me who enjoys learning, who enjoys watching dinosaur documentaries, but also enjoys the science aspect of it, then you're gonna enjoy the second episode as well. But if you're not that type of person, you might not enjoy it as much because that whole second episode is pretty much all science. So if you enjoy that, then you're gonna have a fun time. But if you really don't really like science aspects, then you might just skip it. So you have to chalk that down a point. But I mean, if we're reviewing this based on my opinions mostly, then I enjoyed both episodes. So still a solid 4.4. Rewatchability, I would say it is a 4.6 from Chased by Dinosaurs, just because it is only 2 episodes, so cut that half an hour from Chased by Sea Monsters. But I wouldn't say it's as entertaining as Chased by Sea Monsters, and that's why it's not as high. Because, with Chased by Sea Monsters, even though it's an hour and 30 minutes, you're not going to feel like you're watching for an hour and 30 minutes. With Al, especially in that second episode, you might. So, I wouldn't say it's as easy to rewatch as something like Chased by Sea Monsters. But it's still easy to rewatch because of that shorter period, and just because of how well Al's story is paced. And I mean, just how entertaining that story is in general. I mean, I think as a kid, this is the one I rewatched the most. So yeah. And then my personal opinion, 4.8. Because like it's not as good. I don't like it as much as it's not as good. No. I don't like it as much as Chased by Sea Monsters. But I still do like it a whole lot, and after rewatching it, as I've said in the video, my opinion on it has improved by a lot. I had so much fun watching it. So it deserves a 4.8 because of the story elements, of just the second part. I enjoyed the second part a lot more than I thought I would. And I mean, part of it is nostalgia. I mean, this is the one that I enjoyed the most as a kid. So there's some aspects there, but even without the nostalgia factor, I really thoroughly enjoyed this one. And actually, when I was writing the script, I was like, am I gonna is it gonna bite me in the back that I said that Chased by Sea Monsters was my favorite? Because the Ballad of Abigail is a very, very close second. So yeah, 4.8. And after we total up the points, wow, 18.6. Actually, I don't know what Chased by Sea Monsters was. Hold on. Well, it's definitely an A tier, in the S tier. So hold on. Hold on. I need to recheck something. Is it the same score? Because if it is, that'll be hilarious. No, no, no. Okay, it's 2 point stars. 2 point stars. But yeah, it's still really. I mean, these three right here are the ones that I'll rewatch the most. Well, maybe Wild Monsters too, but these three right here are the one I'll rewatch the most. Now, Wild Wild Caveman, the one that I have not watched before doing that review, and as I said, it was a very fun surprise. Quality wise, it's on the level, so it's on the level of the others. So Wild Wild Caveman. So quality wise, it's a 4.5 because it tells the story of human evolution very it tells the story I don't want to say very good because that's not is that a proper English, but it does the story of human evolution very well. And as I've said, I'm just reiterating what I basically said in the review, but I think it is definitely deserves to be part of the Wildwood series because it really doesn't feel any different from the the other entries in the series. And I think the part where that I enjoyed the most was just learning a lot, because that's the point of these documentaries. You're here to learn something new, and Walking with Caveman has taught me a lot about human evolution that I previously didn't know. Because to be honest, the most I've gotten on it is a I think grade 7 social studies class that I didn't like. So I mean, in terms of actually teaching someone, it did a very good job. Not saying that the others didn't, but I think Walking with Caveman did the best out of all of them. So 4.5. Entertainment. Um, I would say it's a 4.3, just because like some segments are not as good as others. I mean, overall is very entertaining, but there are some parts that kind of stay a little bit, and some parts I just didn't really care about. So I have to chalk it down a point. And rewatchability wise, it's 4 episodes, so I would have to put it. I know it still deserves like a 4.4. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it as a 4.4, because 4 episodes means that you cut like an hour, a whole hour. But I don't know. I don't think I'll rewatch it a lot, because well, it's me. This is me personally speaking, but I don't think I'll rewatch most of the episodes, because I don't know. There's just something weird that I felt while watching, and they just kind of prevented me from actually, because of that, I have to drop it back down to a 4.3. There's something watching it that I just didn't really ease into it. So I would say, I mean, that's just me. Maybe you have a different opinion, but this is also my tier list. So since I didn't really ease into it a lot, I do have to chalk it down a bit for rewatchability. And as for my own opinions, I would say it's still, I still really enjoyed it. It's like, I don't know, I have to put it as a 4. Because as I've said, like, I wouldn't watch all the episodes, because really the one that I was really invested in was the Neanderthal segment of the last episode. But I mean, the other ones are still okay. They're still pretty good. But the only one that I really had a fun time watching was had the most fun watching was that Neanderthal episode, as opposed to like the other entries in the Wild series, but I had a thorough time watching the entire series. So it's still 4. It's still 4. It's still pretty decent, but in my opinion, it's a pleasant surprise for sure. But I wouldn't put it in like above. I know why we watch it, but hey ho, we'll see from the rankings. So let me calculate score. Yeah, 17.1. It is. I think it is higher. Yeah, it is there. I'll put it there. It is higher than Wildwood Dinosaurs, I would say. Um, yeah. So that's the tier so far. Also, I have to let you know that just because one with Beast is the last entry doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, it's still an A tier. Still pretty good. So yeah. Because actually, Walking with Dinosaurs and Walking with Beasts have the same score, but since I prefer Walking with Dinosaurs, it's about that. So that's the tier list, and I think from now on, every video, I'm gonna update this tier list. So every review video, I think at the end of the conclusion, I'm gonna add a segment where I place it in the tier list. So yeah, this was just a fun little video idea, and I think it's also an aspect I want to introduce to future dinosaur reviews. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've probably been recording for like 40 minutes or something, and it's gonna be fun to edit. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.